1212, heads up. Here we go.
Yeah, underneath the 110 freeway now.
SoCal, Los Angeles, live in effect.
To get on the
Yes,
freeway.
Sky's the Limit Smoke
not
Shop.
the best option for him. Maybe he's familiar with
Here
the
we
traffic
are.
patterns because right now.
What is it, Tuesday?
Traffic on
Just
the,
had
on
one
the
this
10
morning,
freeway
missed
is all
that.
jammed
Didn't even
up.
have a
If he goes
chance to get
westbound,
up. The
it's
speed
relatively
chase is
light,
going
though.
on.
Again, he's had plenty of opportunities, but has been sticking with the streets. This
Vehicles
entire
stopping here,
so
so heads up. Viewer discretion be advised.
stop
This is live.
temporarily. Slowing the vehicle.
Let's see who we got up in the chat. What up, Roger? How you doing today, sir?
Those officers get ready to execute a felony stop.
Just another day in LA out here.
Stopping with the red light. He's got a red light at Venice Boulevard and Figueroa. We'll see if he continues to move.
We're on Venice Boulevard and Figueroa. He has
plenty of room
the famous
to play with
Figueroa.
However, he is kind of playing a little game of cat and mouse here with these officers as he debates what
Let
to
me
do
adjust
here,
the levels here for us.
Continue this chase or finally give up. That's obviously his best option.
All right, so we'll see if we'll keep going. See the chopper there, Ghetto Bird flying high there.
Nothing like that, but at this rate, if he does continue, spike strips would be a great option. He's traveling at a
83 degrees.
That is slow enough for them to set up if he establishes some kind of a pattern. If he establishes a pattern,
Fairbanks,
and really
Alaska.
Starts to give them an idea
What's up,
of
Richard?
where he's going next, they can kind of get units in position. Then they could set up for that spike strip, and that would be very effective to bringing this kind of a pursuit to a quick end. But right now,
hot 98.
He's not really established that pattern.
Yeah, it was about that hot yesterday. I was out.
Maybe they'll have that opportunity.
Out east.
Even a pit maneuver is a good option
in San Bernardino County. It gets cooking out that way, and it was yesterday.
This time of the day, we're seeing just so much traffic. Even though he's had no major traffic jams he's run into, and he's slowing down for a lot of the red lights and stop signs. There's just a little bit too much traffic in the area for a safe pit maneuver, especially these narrow streets.
Yeah, it is, Richard. You never know what's going to happen there. Here we go. He's doing it again, or they're doing it again.
Right, and look at once again coming up to another red light here and just stopping very casually.
The red lights, so maybe they're obeying the traffic laws there. Some of them.
Right now, he's kind of taking them along for a joyride here through downtown LA, obeying many of the traffic signals here. And
here we go, downtown LA.
But that's not going to help his cause because, well, it's just too late. I mean, they are determined to get this guy. This is a serious, violent criminal that they believe they are chasing. So they're not going to give up very easily. It's really up to him to show signs of surrender here. And something tells me we may see him give up at some point. If not, maybe just dump the vehicle and go running for it, try and run away. But I don't think he's going to get very far. He's got a lot of eyes on him, a lot of units behind him. He's got helicopters overhead. He's really put himself in a bit of a corner here, and his passengers are giving up all that juicy info. So they have all the tools they need. They're really just going to let him exhaust as much gas as possible.
We still stopping there?
That's a good point. That's a good point. They do have that information. And
greetings, Firewater.
That's the that they use. If they can get a crisis
negotiator
on
what's
the
up?
line, they will try and attempt to call him and maybe try and talk him down. That's a possibility. We don't know if they're doing that, but that is certainly a possibility considering the information that we do have. He is apparently a known criminal, and he's got a bit of a history here. So they may be able to communicate with him. And if not, they can even communicate with that PA system. If he's continuing to come to these full stops, they'll continue to try and talk to him and order him to stop and pull over. And maybe at some point he may think twice and just decide to surrender. They're going to use every tactic they can. Right now, they've got the benefit of a relatively slow driver behind the wheel here who's not really amping things up. He's not really escalating this. They've got all the time on their side here. We have those same 5 units that are right behind him at the intersection of Broadway and Venice Boulevard. Yeah, but he's leaving a lot of room. He's leaving himself a lot of room to play with, even as he does encounter some of that traffic. He's now underneath the 10 freeway, coming out the south side, southbound on Broadway at 18th Street. And he could be giving himself that space to play with, or he could be playing games with those officers. That's a possibility. But he doesn't seem to be trying to, get anywhere fast. And now he's going to get a little bit more congested rush hour traffic here just south of the 10 freeway. Again, Broadway and 18th, he's got a pretty steady line of traffic approaching that signal, a red light there. And, how long is he going to continue this? They can't really do anything unless he shows signs of surrender and pops open that door. At this point, they're just going to continue to, ride traffic with him and navigate the streets of South LA here as we make our way into the southwest area, or southeast area, I should say. It does. The fact that he's armed with a weapon or believed to be armed with a weapon does make a big difference in terms of what tactics they decide to employ here. Ultimately, it's up to the watch commander, but that does really give them a lot of pause when they have an armed suspect behind the wheel that they know about. Right now, he's got, again, a little bit of room to play with here and still not doing more than 30 miles per hour, doing right around the speed limit here on Broadway. So the driving is safe enough, but the driver behind the wheel is anything but safe. It's a volatile situation, especially with that gun in the vehicle, if indeed he is armed. With that information, they are going to play this very, very carefully. They're going to treat him with kid glove care, both during the course of the pursuit and especially once he comes to a stop at some point. It's going to be a very tenuous situation until they finally get him in handcuffs. They most likely will, unless the behavior behind the wheel really changes. If he
we're on duty here. We're on duty here. We're on duty here.
That'll be when
Sorry about that.
A change
taking care of customers.
Maybe even they'll decide to put
anything wild happen.
I think it was mode at one point earlier on. So they didn't have a problem doing that, especially as long as they've got the helicopter overhead with eyes on the suspect.
Air sirens going off on the TV over here.
Into his location once he comes to a stop. If the driving becomes too dangerous, where they have to pull back
MK,
on the ground,
what up?
And they have to give him more space.
Got MK Ultra in the house.
It's a slow-speed pursuit. It's
That's
just
a treat.
tempting to just,
what's up, Alan? What's going on, brother?
Especially if
if
the driving is safe
Tuesday
enough, they want to be ready
here in Los
as soon
Angeles.
As he decides to
it's
give
the second
up.
speed chase for the day. There was one earlier this morning, way before I woke up.
And they're going to do whatever they
Didn't
can
even
to take
get
some of the pressure off.
There was no way, no chance. So I shared that out in the post, and that was interesting. We'll check that out here after this. If this comes to an end, some of these things do extend for long periods of time.
A little more desperate. We just don't know ultimately what his state of mind is, whether he's
I always question
or what other
how these people always have a full tank of gas when they
really more of a
start these things. I trip out on it.
He's just taking them along.
It's like they always have a full tank ready to go.
Friday afternoon, he's dropped off his passengers. He knows he's
and so there's some breaking news: missiles from Iran incoming to Israel right now.
It's just a matter of toying with.
I'm actually watching that on the TV,
and just kind of taking this.
And you can hear the sirens going off,
and enjoying his final moments of freedom here.
Interesting times, like they say. And we're live at the shop here once again. Sky's the Limit Smoke Shop.
That is the case, but
3925 East
there's
Olympic
a lot of
Boulevard.
That play into those decisions, and those watch commanders can go ahead and order the pit maneuver. Or
how's everyone else doing out there? What's up, Genocide? You're working?
Will not if they have a confirmed
but that's not me. I never text and no. You're sending telepathic text messages. All good, brother. Hope you're doing well, and hope you're having a good day at work. Yeah. Here we go. Could we activate this
Continuing
camera?
Southbound Broadway, and as I look down, as he's going to make a left turn here, and Broadway is actually wide open.
Some laser beams for everyone out there.
Will parallel the 110 freeway.
Is getting cray-cray in this world, right?
Really stuck.
Or has it always been like this?
Bumper, especially on the
Ask
southbound
MK
side.
Ultra. He probably has an answer.
On the streets,
Firewater.
Go on all the
Welcome
way down.
to the Bigfoot Dwarfs News Channel. Yeah,
Broadway,
right on, right?
It is wide open as far as I can see here. So
it's a reality, right? We go
lights,
walk outside.
Traffic is
I mean, a lot of it's online,
very
but
light. He could take
yeah,
this
you
all
walk
the way
out
down
and
into South LA.
stuff like this is happening.
Into the
so we'd like to
LA
stay on top of it.
He could take this all
Speed
the way
chases
into another jurisdiction. You just don't know
is
where this is
one.
going to ultimately end up here.
It's a
Eventually,
SoCal
we may
thing.
see other agencies be involved. Right now, this is really in the middle of the
this one's
LA
not so fast due to traffic. This is a terrible hour.
Started in their Olympic division.
Work.
He has moved through
school's ending, summer school,
LAPD areas.
So that there's not as many people, and then you got people hiding at the moment and stuff. So there's isn't as much traffic as usual, but there's still traffic out there, folks. So
but he has come to a complete stop
let's see here.
Giving them lots of
it's weird that they don't do something right at that moment. Maybe because the windows are tinted. I'm thinking they don't know how many people are in there.
They don't have good visibility into
what the suspect may have on them.
It's really
we don't know
to see what's happening inside that vehicle. What the
driver at least I don't
doing.
Know.
Is he animated?
If someone knows, let us know in the chat.
Don't know from this vantage point.
Roger that, MK Ultra. Here, let's do this like this.
You're right, because when they
Roger that,
pursuit,
MK Ultra,
an armed robbery suspect. There's been every indication that there would be a gun in the car, but he may have.
I seen Geralt up in here. Is he hiding now?
Passengers, you're right, David.
Oi, tudo bem?
They may, if they
Carlos,
know, they may be able to tell officers whether the gun in question is still inside the vehicle or just how armed he is. Because if that gun has not, if that gun has left the vehicle,
always
for any
keeping
reason,
me on my toes with the Portuguese.
Whether that information was
my good brother Carlos Skywatcher.
Other tactics employed.
Where's
here,
John?
Including a pit maneuver. We just don't know whether there's a gun.
He's the other
suspect,
Portugal representative
at this point that he is
around here. And you're keeping the eyes on the skies there, Carlos.
Continuing southbound Broadway.
I hope so.
Here at a slow
I know you are.
Speed. You just have to point out here that the speeds here.
Carlos, have you moved to a different platform? Maybe where can we find you? Are you still active on the YouTube? I haven't seen too many of your posts.
Now in the 40s, passing 43rd place in Southeast LA. He's got traffic, but he could go
What's
around
up, Brian?
Very easily. If he wanted to go faster,
slow speed chase.
He certainly could.
This is actually out your way.
Lots of open space.
A little while ago, they were on Venice.
He is choosing
I guess
to go
somewhat
relatively
this way,
slow here. Now passing.
I guess
Vernon,
if you take Venice all the way, you might find Brian.
Broadway at speeds under the speed limit, no
slow
more
speed chase.
than about 20
I guess that's a good thing.
Per hour by my estimation, maybe even a little bit slower than that. About
brings
20,
the danger levels down a bit.
Miles at times, but just really maybe thinking,
at least for now,
about giving up or looking for that perfect opportunity.
Yeah, they were on Venice and Fig.
We just don't know
Aroa.
what his
see
what is going
47th
on
Street
in his
there.
mind, but he's got lots of time. The slower he goes, if he starts
Southeast
traveling
Los
much
Angeles.
faster, that really limits his own options, and we'll just see how strategic he is. He's gone
you
through
never
that
know. Some of them
there at 47th place.
Do end up coming this
way.
Traveling
with their lights and sirens on, right through that red light now, and he is just.
It looks like we're headed straight south.
I mean, at this rate, these are the pursuits.
Four units that I can see behind it.
Even more unpredictable. Sometimes, when
maybe
the
they're
driving
making
is
text
really
messages,
dangerous, or you just see pure desperation behind the wheel.
Who knows?
You get a better idea of just how it's going to end up. Sometimes
see what they're saying over here,
or you get a little bit of a clue or suspicion. But when you have this kind of time to play with, this could go on for hours.
Yep, we were just saying that earlier.
Gas is in that tank, and you guys know we have seen pursuits
full tank. I would say
go on for hours.
Cops might even go let them refuel. Who knows?
Copy.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of fuel.
All right. Chopper's got plenty of fuel. That's good. I was hearing who was it?
Plenty of fuel. Plenty of fuel.
Marcel, who's one of the guys who flies around for different stations.
Sounds good.
That's even pretty cool. When I found out, I was like, wow. I thought maybe you'd be working for just one news station, but this guy Marcel works for several stations. AXN News got an exclusive with them. they got to go to where they land the choppers. They got to check out the choppers, the cameras inside out and everything. They even went inside the studio and everything and showed the monitors. It was amazing. That's on AXN News, YouTube. And Marcel has a Instagram. What is it? I think it might be Marcel _ camera op or something like that. He also has a YouTube channel. We'll be sharing that out again. Anyway, Marcel recently went live this weekend. I was trying to get it on so y'all could check it out here live, but and he did that through his Instagram, and he was behind the pilot on the chopper. You could see his keyboard with the joysticks and all these buttons and stuff where he could zoom and control the cameras. And yeah, it was just really cool to see. And salute to Marcel out there. A lot of people know who he is. And why do we bring Marcel up? I don't know. Rid, what up, bro? You getting an early chase here? Is Smoking Scan on yet? I know he was on today earlier with doing his city council meeting, LA City Council meeting is what he calls it, right? And he ended that maybe at about 1 o'clock was it or so? LA City Council. Should check it out. It's a good one to watch, especially when Smoking Scan is doing it. Even if Smoking Scan wasn't streaming the council meetings, it would be hilarious. Believe me. Check it out if you haven't. And I do check out other places, random places as council meetings sometimes. What's up, brother? We got Brother Dist in the house. Yeah, live in effect. TNT kaboom. Where's my explosion here? Let's see. I got it. Bless up, brother. Boom. We're live in effect now, bro, with a slow speed chase in LA. Right? We had one earlier this morning. Early in the morning, about 7:30, almost 8 o'clock. And that one ended crazy, bro. Always. I'm sure. Yeah, bless up, man. I'm showing the people here how it goes down. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Boom.
I know.
Where's my kaboom? I was trying to get a kaboom going here. We got it. For the homie from TNT crew there. Gustavo, ¿qué tal? So Rid, check it out, bro. If you go to djcubert.com, you should be able to download free digital music. So maybe you could get that down to your computer or whatever, and do it soon because he might be taking it off soon. You could purchase free music there, and some of the stuff's real cheap too, a couple bucks, $1 or so sometimes. But anyway, you could get that because I remember you telling me about you having the portable turntable, and it's just some extra sounds to scratch to, bro. And hopefully you come through the shop here soon. No pressure. Come on by when you do. Bring your little turntable. I got the turntables set up here also. You can do a little scratching here also. Rid in the chat, y'all. He be cutting and scratching like we do over here too.
Very, very smart. Boring.
Yeah, scratching records just like that. All right, we're all stuck in traffic here, of course. Suspects and law enforcement. There's no way to cut through LA traffic unless you're in a UFO or something. Sharon, welcome. How you doing this week? Here we are, Tuesday. Back at it. You know, downtown, I haven't gotten too much word from downtown. Things have calmed down quite a bit, you know, and I'm talking protests here. And it's all over the place. And, you know, we're in a neutral zone. We're not over on this side or over on that side. We're just keeping open and processing the information and what we're experiencing also at the same time and trying to make sense of what's going on. And yeah, a lot of people getting in trouble, a lot of arrests and stuff, and things popping off in different states. And I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Yeah, hope everyone's safe and keeping cool with all situations. Also keeping cool with the weather. Things are warming up out
negative,
there.
not yet.
Even here, it's actually a cool one today. It was supposed to be like, I think high, maybe up in almost 90 or something like that, in the 90s. But yesterday out in San Bernardino is up in the 90s for sure. See those rooftop tags getting some fame there.
What street's he on now? 60s? I see it. I see it. I see it.
Down in the 60s.
If he was going
watch
faster,
out.
it would make it easier.
And those are the streets.
Yeah, I would say another few blocks. But he's just going so slow.
There's Larry H. Parker billboard, R.I.P. Larry H. Parker. I remember seeing those commercials as a kid all the time. Larry H. Parker. Yeah, he died. What was it, last year? We bring him up every time he pops out.
Let's do it.
Some good advertisement for his firm there.
On Rosecrans, I heard that. Yeah.
Holding down the mixing board here. It's kind of weird sometimes, you know. I have it at certain levels here, the way that I hear it in the headphones. Sometimes on the replay, it's not so great, but hey, we're learning. Tate Hieronymus, yeah, the Bigfooter, was on TikTok earlier, playing live music for us, so that was pretty cool. He was playing bass, was covering some well-known songs. And it was just like me and another person, maybe a second person up in there. Maybe you should give everyone a heads up so everyone could go over and party with Tate when he does that. What up, Hillbilly Herb? Got your message earlier, bro. Super weird about those sky farts. And also your sighting there. We got a slow speed chase going on right now. Actually, we're actually cutting out, zooming out here a bit.
Thank you.
And you're weird about your sighting there, Hillbilly. Thank you for sharing, bro. Yeah, prayers for you too, Woo Reezy. Got Woo Riders in the house. I wonder what he's up to right now in Florida. What time is it? It's like 6, about to be 6 out there. What does he do around this time? We all know he's a strange dude.
Copy.
And we got Juanito in the house. What's popping up in Washington, brother? And I, like Ike over here singing Prince songs. Don't get a copyright over there. Were you doing the Prince version? Welcome on in, Ike. Like Ike. Looking at shorts like that make me happy to live in the country. Yeah, man. Shots like that. I thought it was you were checking out YouTube shorts or something. No, yeah, definitely. I said it the other night. Let this be a reminder when we show things like this of for you to appreciate where you live. Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to figure this one out here. Maybe they're trying to find find a place. Maybe it's a DoorDash of some sort. They're confused. That's one thing they haven't done. Oh, look. The homies streaming right there on the street. Y'all seen that? Looked like everyone had their phones out. There was a few chases back where, here we go, chopper view. The grid. What was I saying? Yeah, a few chases ago. What was I going to mention? Well, there was the guy, Gerald knows this one, the guy that stopped, went inside the liquor store. Maybe, let's say he purchased a few things. Maybe he didn't. But he went inside, seemed like he grabbed a few things, came back up to the car, and continued with the chase. And then there was the biker, the group of bikers. First, it was a biker that was being chased. I think maybe one or two. They called their homies, which were a bunch of other bikers. They pull up. And so now it's a group of bikers, and they all head over to the gas station, fill their tanks, and then continue with the speed chase. Of course, yeah, that one was, they got away with that one. There's been a lot of getaways. You know, some they'll just terminate for whatever reason. I don't think they're going to terminate this one here. I think they're on their tail. We got Bro in the house too. He's been stepping in and out. I think he's got some projects going over at the asylum. And Dist is over there at the asylum, which is the facility next to the smoke shop here. So they're probably pressing shirts. I think some construction's being done over there. And yeah, we've been having these punk shows on the weekends. So who knows what's happening over there. But yeah, my brother's in one piece. And so is my nephew. So I think everything went all right. Maybe we'll find out later. But yeah, no, it's been good. That's what they have the asylum for. And then there's they press shirts, clothing. They make clothing over there. You know, quite a bit of different projects that happen over at the asylum. The homie Dist, who just came in, he's probably working on some shirts, I would imagine. Trying to get him to press my shirts, but he's just been so busy. It's crazy. We have all the equipment to do all that stuff here, and it's been brought up before. And I still haven't put anything on our shop there. So eventually, you know what I do have is, and I was thinking about earlier. Let's see, can I grab it from here without taking off? Somewhere around. 1 second, it's over here. Let's activate the camera. Hello, camera. Thank you. I do have, this is still just a prototype. And my brother's Queen made it. Yeah, it's a Bigfoot stencil there. And it's got the name of my organization. And remember that I am the president and only member of my Bigfoot organization. Anyway, yeah, we could get some of these stencils. That'll be something cool and I think a little different to have than the typical shirts and thing. We're gonna get the Bigfoot dwarf gear and apparel up and going here soon. We're gonna have different little fun things. Try to aim for something different. But yeah, of course, we'll get the typical shirts and all that. Jeez. What the hell? I think I just, all right, that came off. I'm leaving paint all over my gear here now. Yeah, it has been used, as you can see. Of course. Had to test it out. So you might see some of these somewhere. And on the side it says yeah, it's NorCal, Southern Oregon Bigfoot Project, NCSO BP there. What else we got? Announcements for all you hip hop heads. Yeah, had this handy right there. Rhyme Fest still going on. I guess later this year. I thought they did one already last year or something like that. It was some sort of event that happened. It probably was a Rhyme Fest, but that's coming up in October. So a heads up for all you break dances, graffiti artists, MCs, DJs. You wear shirts like yours also, says Alan. What? You wear shirts like this? Might be a kid in the car. That's a possibility. Yeah, the swag. Got to do some like iced ice. Look, we got people on the street. Oh, the homies are pulling up. Watch out. Yeah, well, nowadays with everything going on, you know, they could claim that it is, you know, that cold unit.
They could, oh boy,
busting a U-turn there. But anyway, there's quite a bit of a crowd there on that corner. Not sure what was going on, but what's happening, I've noticed, is when people are having law enforcement come into their area for whatever reason, whether it may be of a, you know, name it, this, that, checkup or whatever, people are freaking out because of the situation going on with the protests and the cold unit and other law enforcement units. So people are on edge out here, and there have been some recent ones out of South Central. I think there was a weird situation there, made the news, and surrounding areas here, East LA, Boyle Heights. Yep. And with reason, I'm like, man, I'm kind of tripped out too, because it's like they're picking up anyone from the sounds of it.
To the 105 on Broadway.
So you could be anybody and get wrapped up.
Getting from West LA through downtown all the way down, paralleling the 110 freeway on Broadway, he has now decided to turn around, make a U-turn, and we are now going northbound on Broadway as we continue this joyride through the streets of LA, northbound Broadway at Century.
The Rasta Squatch, yeah, the Rasta Squatch. That'd be a good one. Definitely Firewater.
Yeah, man. So, and now he is making a turn away from the freeway. That's going to be a right eastbound turn off of Broadway onto Century Boulevard. The driving has been extremely slow for as long as we have been over it. We'll see if that changes. But again,
extremely
this is believed
slow
to be an armed robber behind the wheel, a robbery suspect behind the wheel. There were 3 passengers at the beginning of the pursuit. 2 passengers were dropped off. They are in police custody and are cooperating apparently with LAPD. Now he has come to another sudden stop here. He's occasionally encountered traffic. He's been pretty much going with the flow of traffic, stopping for many of the traffic signals, red lights, stop signs, really obeying most of the rules here, but continuing this game of cat and mouse with those Olympic Division units. We've counted a total of 5 units behind him. LAPD's airship continuing to orbit overhead. They are continuing to order him to pull over. However, he has yet to do so. As you can see, he's continuing to travel at just under the speed limit here, coming up on Wall Street along Century Boulevard here in LAPD's Southeast Division. It really is anybody's guess, guys, as to how this is going to end. He just appeared. Oh, look at that driver's side door.
Oh, here we go.
For the first time.
Door opening.
Suspect at
viewer discretion be advised.
Driver's side door opened up.
Plain mouse again.
He has closed it. Units getting back in their vehicles. They're going to take a look and make sure he's not dumping any weapons or dropping anything out of the vehicle. But right now, it looks like it was a false start. He basically popped open that driver's side door and then closed it. And now
I've seen some different things with Bigfoots and dreads. Even I've heard of accounts, you know, people have reported them with dreadlocks. According to MK Davis, not MK Ultra in chat. That's another guy. Davis says that the Patty Bigfoot
does not sound like he communicated with them. You can see them
take
now
a look. I always have a picture of Patty ready to go.
His both sides of his vehicle.
Should keep one in my wallet.
You see that LAPD unit now crossing
how would
over
girlfriends or
the
wives feel if
they want to have visibility
carried
in that
a
driver's
picture
side
of
once he does open the
Patty
door?
Bigfoot in their wallet?
But he is looks like
he's
just stopping for the red light. Just basically
let us know in the chat.
This joyride. You just have to wonder at this point.
Or vice versa.
Interesting if there's any information from the passengers, if they have any idea how much gas they started with.
Picture of
I mean, are they dealing with a French
or some sort of male Sasquatch?
Or is this guy going to start running on fumes soon? We just don't know, but maybe that's something that
Would
those
the guys get jelly? I don't know.
Do know. You just don't know.
Who else is up in here? Zach Kaz.
Anyways, right?
And Joanne. Hi all. Yeah, listen on up. We got a little something to say, and then we got the reporters there giving us an update. I'm sure everyone's busy. Traffic hour here, 3:11 on the clock.
No, in fact, he traveled
here West Coast. There's your 3:11s.
Directly down Broadway. Didn't even turn off of Broadway.
Not the.
He traveled due south, paralleling the 110 freeway, which tells me he's not using Waze or Google Maps.
That, right?
If he was going to come down here, you would take the freeway.
What up, Alexander?
Broadway is wide open. He took full advantage of that and is sticking to the streets. Every time he's had an opportunity to get on the freeway,
MK Ultra
has turned it down. He has made a very clear decision during this entire
and Patty got back
to stay on surface
with reason,
and he's continuing to stick with that.
They say for the Sasquatches that usually have hills and mountains around. They need,
where you see people coming
they
out
need to be able to
trying to catch some video
get up them hills.
Pursuit. And
that takes a lot of that.
Down. At one point, he even came to a full stop
in the bun work there.
Posing for
so
pictures,
of course, you're going to have
going. You can see he's now picking up a little
nice
bit of speed.
Peaches,
this is about
right?
as fast as we have seen him drive now.
Where are them peach emojis at?
And the entire time we've been watching, now doing close to 40 miles per hour, still within the speed limit here. But again,
who don't like peach cobbler?
Of life here as he presses that
with
gas
a nice
pedal
scoop of
and uses up a little
cold
bit more
vanilla
fuel.
Good quality ice cream on top of it. Could be even vegan for you non-dairy folk. All right, we're picking up the pace here, 35 miles an hour.
Armed robbery suspect wanted in connection with an armed robbery that we do not know when it occurred, but it was believed to have been committed with a handgun, that they were operating under the suspicion that that weapon was in the vehicle. We don't know if that weapon is still in the vehicle. They are treating it as such as far as we can tell, but that might be information that we've alluded to before. Maybe those passengers have information as to where that weapon is. Perhaps it's still in the vehicle. Perhaps it's no longer in the vehicle. But those decisions, those details play a really big role into the decision-making process of law enforcement tactics, because LAPD will be much more hesitant to pit that vehicle if they know that that driver is armed. But again, ultimately, the watch commander, if he establishes any kind of a pattern, which he has yet to do, then
damn, my voice is all groggy.
This could be an optimal pursuit for a spike strip
if
they can get ahead of it. Right now, the turns that he has made appear to have been mostly random. In fact, I'm a little surprised that they didn't try it on Broadway, because he was basically traveling
take
in a
bold
straight
breaks
line.
here,
they may not
folks.
have had units in position, but in any event, he's now made another random turn, again southbound off of Century onto Central Avenue. You can see the full pursuit package: a primary unit, a secondary unit, and all of those backup units now catching up as they continue southbound on Central Avenue, making that right turn with him. And now he's continuing to get closer to the 105 freeway, which is what we were looking at.
There is a new Bigfoot report out of California. We could take a look at that as well.
But now he is again going southbound,
and it's a long one. There's a couple other new Bigfoot reports that have also been added to the Bigfoot Mapping Project. We'll take a look at. Not as long, so I guess it could all even out there. There's one that's really short, and it's possible that it's a legit one. You know, we'll check this out. We'll see where we're going here. Anyone have a word from the driver here yet? Anyone know where we're going? You can hear the air raid sounds in the background. That was from earlier. Let's turn that down.
Yes.
And yeah, I remember watching Desert Storm, they broadcasted a lot of that on TV. Who remembers anyone watch that back in the day? I was pretty young then, and but for some reason hooked on the television and wanted to know what was going on, and was worried about our folk, and getting updates, seeing the POWs and stuff like that, and trippy stuff.
Air 7 News Desk, you up? We're at about 45 minutes. 45 minutes of fuel. What if we just can we go west? Because he's going west. Can we go on the south side of the 105?
Whoa, we're muted there. How long was that going on for? Since the Desert Storm. I was muted since the Desert Storm part. Right? That's what happens when you hit them bowls, folks. Sometimes you hit that mute by accident. And if you're lucky, you'll catch it quick. But it's all right. We got some sounds going in the background there. You hear the chopper chopping, and Carl Casey's Skynet track bumping in the back there. Vengeance is the name of the album there. Copyright free music that you can find on Spotify.
Copy.
Word up. Radio.
Are we muted?
Coming up on the 110.
Coming up on the 110 freeway. Could head south again, back towards downtown, although nope. You're gonna hit traffic, bro.
Go ahead, Jay.
What else is let's see. All right, so I've been getting my rig ready.
That's correct.
To possibly hit the road at some point. Yeah, we've been talking a little, road trip stuff here and there. I don't know. Is it possible? Can we make it happen? I don't know. What I do know is that if that's going to happen, the rig's got to be in good condition. Because at this point, it needs a little TLC, which we've been giving it. Actually, yesterday got a whole lot of TLC in. and I think it needs a little bit more. Today it did get a little tap. Got another little thing fixed there, which needs still slight tuning, but it's a lot better than what it was a few minutes ago. So that's done. So little by little, things are happening here. And then, you know,
yeah, a little bit
who
of a
has really money to blow? Maybe a few of you do.
Freeway to
Some
give
of
those
you
airliners
rich folk out
their
there.
wide berth, and you can see he's now coming up on.
No, we're
Figueroa.
saving pennies. We're picking pennies up when we find them. We're
freeway on 108th Street,
cashing it all in, breaking piggy banks
at a virtual snail's pace here.
Yeah, to make this happen.
Continues kind of the same behavior that we have seen over the course of this pursuit. And, not going anywhere fast.
Yeah,
still
it's almost about that time.
Over, but really making this more of a long.
Anyone hitting the road out there anytime soon? Anyone doing any camping, exploring, hiking?
There were 3 people inside the
fishing,
vehicle originally.
backpacking,
2 of them have been dropped off and
rock
are
climbing,
in police custody.
spelunking,
and it looks like he may be at
diving.
a stop here just to the east of Figueroa Street.
What else do you folks do out there? Skydiving. I know some of you skydivers out there. What's up, Russell?
Juncture, if he gets a little bit closer to Figueroa, which is lined with those palm trees there, north to south, that's Fig. And he's going to come
Paradox
right
is still in Missouri.
Shot here if he's still moving. There he is. There he is.
Missouri's
right
been coming up here lately. We've been talking about it a whole lot.
Right,
you know, we had that. What I thought was a prank of a
red light
report onto the website there we've been checking out.
But
there was another one previously from Missouri
this armed robbery
that we touched on that I thought was pretty legit, I think, if I remember it correctly. And what else? Testerman is from Missouri. Been sharing quite a bit from out his way, and Paradox Fossils is as well. Who else? Our friend Fairy Frequency.
We
also,
there were
do you follow Fairy Frequency on YouTube or
including the
TikTok or any of that?
He's dropped off too. We
Paradox
have every
Fossils or any of you
alone now
folks from Missouri.
Very difficult to tell, as you can tell. This is an older model
cool
Ford
friend
Focus,
there.
but the windows
just got back from southern Georgia. Took the back roads home. Nice drive. Wow.
Good shot of the driver.
Run into anything
we
weird?
really don't even have a description of this driver yet.
I won't ask what you're doing on those back roads,
which is a street
home.
that he was already on earlier in this pursuit.
Have any road
45 minutes
crossings
ago,
or sightings
point,
of anything strange? Any
on
weird or strange lights?
He's kind of back in the southwest
Let's see what's
area,
going on here.
although he was much further north when he was on Hoover earlier.
Are we stalled out here now?
We are much further south now. It'll be
or are we
interesting
just at a
to
stop
see
sign?
if they know or have any indication
light.
as to where he resides. Where is he from?
Could be another traffic light.
They probably do
it's
have
weird that they haven't done really.
And I just wonder if it's in this area. But right now we have covered
I would have thought by now they would have done something. So he must be
as long as we've been over this. I mean,
starting they did mention something about
all the way along Washington into
the robbery LA, earlier. Left a few people behind.
East LA, all the way down to the 105 here, as you mentioned. We went through Watts briefly, and he is now just north of the 105 freeway on 108th Street. And he's now going through Hoover, not making.
We're in a slow speed chase here in
west on
Los Angeles. Street. There was a fast speed chase this morning. If you'd like to check out, we'll take a look at it. We could probably watch that and get back to this chase here too. Why don't we try that? We could probably pause the way this chase is going. We could check out this morning's speed chase, which was action-packed, and most of us were most of us on the West Coast were probably just waking up or sleeping at the time. So he didn't give us a chance to stream it.
It tells you something
I know
about
Smoking
his state
Scan
of mind,
didn't even get to stream it live. Yeah, he restreamed it during his
we don't know if he's under the
LA City
or what is going
Council
through his head. But as you mentioned, he's not super agitated.
I have to say that
he's
slowly.
not
It's kind of
really
hard to say.
desperate
LA
to get
City
away. Most likely, he's content with the inevitable outcome of being taken into custody. Whether he gives up peacefully or not is another question.
I'm pretty sure we can do
tries
that.
to run and hide.
Now, if we do this, there's a chance that we might miss all the action on this one. Of course, I do have that luck sometimes
has a pretty good understanding
where,
of how
I'll take my chance on something and
so he's basically along for the joyride here, and we're along for the
you
ride
miss
with
it
him
all.
As LAPD units continue now
Let's
northbound.
do this. Boom. We'll go like that. Let's navigate this ship here. Voila. And it's a shorty rock too, so it's not even all that long, I'm telling you. And boom.
Welcome to Good Day LA at 7 a.m. We're going to begin with breaking news. A pursuit now underway. Stu Mandel and Sky Fox with the very latest.
Whoa,
Stu.
we got everybody on here. Let me control that.
Good morning, everybody.
Over here.
Good morning, Bobby. Good morning, Roxy. That vehicle right there being pursued by Manhattan Beach Police Department. Look at that, doing a little switcheroo there. Just going to make sure that it's still Manhattan Beach. Yep, they're changing out their vehicles, but this has started clearly down in the Manhattan Beach area. That vehicle they're chasing, that's going to be a Hyundai.
There it is. This is early this morning.
A stolen vehicle, and this is one of those ones. It got onto the freeway, and usually we're dealing with a lot of traffic. We know this northbound 101. There we go. There's that traffic that we were waiting on, and you can see that vehicle's now starting to do a little bit of maneuvers around here. Now, Manhattan Beach PD, they are like
this is what's going on today, BJs.
Else's help.
If you're wondering, California, I know you're up in Canada, right?
They said, hey, you got this pursuit here on the
Hello,
freeway. We'll
your neighbors.
They said, nope,
down below
we got
you.
this. Thank you very much.
Just
We're
another
in the
day
LA
here.
area as well. LAPD might get involved if it gets off the freeway. But again, this is one of those things. There's policies involved. Manhattan Beach would actually have to request that, and it would have to happen. But you can see this vehicle still continuing on. We're on that higher part. This is going to be the fast track area. So this is on that upper part of the 110 freeway. Works out really well for us, so we can keep an eye on it. That's for sure. But the traffic, a little tight out there. That little Hyundai keeps it basically in an emergency lane right there.
And early this morning,
you can get some ideas of the speeds. But you got to remember, a lot of those other cars down there probably going about 30 miles an hour. So much slower for the public. This vehicle continues to try to elude officers from the Manhattan Beach area, making our way into the downtown Los Angeles area.
It's really interesting there, Stu. I didn't know that CHP would actually back off and
that's Stu, the guy in the chopper, like the announcer in the chopper.
When you start getting onto
Stu made an announcement today that he got married.
You think that they would just automatically get involved.
Congratulations,
this is a
Stu.
risk to public safety.
But they might be around. I'm not saying that they just were like, "Oh, fine, you got this. We're not going to help you out." But it actually is a possibility. With LAPD as well, they have to actually ask for and then be given. There we go. We got off the freeway right there. Definitely going to be getting.
That's always dangerous when you have these overpasses. We've seen that before, where they stay under the overpass and escape. Go ghost.
USC making his way across that intersection. Got a little bump there, so the speeds might be picking up. The brakes are back on. I hope he's not. Yeah, he is. He's starting to run some red lights. Never like to see that, even in the especially in the morning hours where you got a lot of traffic. Also, whoa, look at this! Look at this! Oh! Manhattan Beach PD, they do not play. Look at that! Tried to do a pit maneuver. It looked like he did a little damage to the PD cruiser, but definitely got the attention of the driver of that vehicle. Now speeds are really starting to pick up, and again, not something we want to see at all, because again, this is going to be an area out here. You got pedestrians, you've got people.
When you come visit BJ's,
not saying that they're not paying attention to driving, but there's a lot going on out here. That cruiser's starting to pick up some speed, getting up really close. Looks like we're going to try to do another pit. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, head on into a parked car. Head on. Thank goodness it was a parked vehicle. But like I said, some of these departments, they are a little bit different. Out and running, I'm going to get it. I'm catching up. There you go. Out and running. Boy, officers from they are fit and going. You got another officer right there making his way. That's the bad guy.
Look at that pile of trash there.
Alleyway, a lot of little homeless debris out there. Oh, it might happen to be behind the building. I wanted to see that takedown. These the Manhattan, like I said, Manhattan PD, they are on it. Didn't come out the other side there. So whatever happened right there. That suspect now down in that alleyway. But wow, what a traumatic ending there. But it does show you when the officers get a little bit of aggressive, it is dangerous. There is no doubt about that. But it definitely brought that pursuit to an end very, very quickly. That suspect got out and ran, made his way over to this alleyway. He is definitely being taken into custody right now. But again, this is all Manhattan Beach PD bringing it to an end out here in the central area of Los Angeles. We'll get a better look at that vehicle crash. It did hit a parked car.
It did hit a parked car, so that is a plus, if anything. So there was nobody in that vehicle. But again,
A plus,
this
Stu?
pursuit coming to a very dramatic end out here in Los Angeles. There it is. There's the car. Actually, looks like it might have not hit the car at
Versus
all.
tree.
Looks like it hit a tree.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it makes it even a little bit better.
That pit maneuver was something.
Tree one.
Windshield wipers going off.
The tree one, folks.
It was
How
almost
about
done
that?
at a
I love when the trees win.
high
Well,
rate of
sometimes
speed there.
With
I
other
mean,
cars around.
Yeah.
Risky moves, but worked
there you
out
go.
in this case.
Came to an end, and
no. It
code
is
4 here,
dangerous with
they're
trees.
all the suspect taken into custody after a foot pursuit. There, it ended
Especially
there
those
in-
redwoods. Let me tell you,
there
that'll
was
stop.
somebody in that car.
Wow.
Whoa. That must have been something to see.
What was that?
It was that,
wow.
and again, look at the, that luck. That is a lot
there
of
was
luck
someone
right
in-
there. That is a lot of good karma.
She was in the car.
Yeah, I can just imagine what she was thinking with that car out of control coming right at her. But in the end, that tree stopped it. That is amazing. It is the only word that I can come up with right now. But wow, what a crazy ending. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at all these pedestrians out here on the roadway. That's really what I was worried about. But
something in a stroller.
It is
maybe.
busy down there. It is busy down there. So this is what we always talk about. Sometimes people say, well, why are they backing off? Why are they not just going for it? The reason is because they assess the fact that, it's not worth the risk to innocent bystanders. And you saw there were plenty of vehicles on the road. There are pedestrians out and about.
All right, let's cruise on over to. Was it here? Nope. Here we go. Back to the other chase here. And we're in a parking lot, it looks like. Oh, see, but it happened. Damn. So we didn't get to see the end of that one. We'll find out what happened there. Right when I said it, what could happen is I thought that it was going to keep, maybe it kept going. Who knows? It seems pretty quick for them to wrap it up on that chase. So we got to find out what happened there. And let's go ahead and dang it. How about we check out this Bigfoot report while we're at it? While we're at it. Where's the rabbit? Let's see. Where are you at? Yeah, Bigfoot Mapping Project. Live in effect there. Look at all those Bigfoot reports. I don't know. I think Bigfoot makes more rounds than Dogman does. Dogman's got a lot of catching up to do to be able to get a map like this going for them. Let's see. Where'd you go? All right, so you can see over on the West Coast there. Yep, California again. It's got a little orange dot, and you can't really, I guess you can't really see it. But it's kind of lit up around there where it says San Francisco, but it's actually more towards the eastern Sierras. We'll take a look at that report, and then I'm going to say there's this one on the border of Oklahoma here and Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. That's a real, I want to say pretty short. That one and this other one up here in, what state was that? Yeah, so this one's on the Oklahoma side of things. Right, pretty much right at the border of Arkansas, my bad. My fault. And let me see where this other one was. Yeah, I think that it might be just those two. we'll go ahead and click on this Oklahoma one, 4/16/2021, 12:57 p.m. No description or anything, and it says describe your encounter. It says be safe out there. That's a great tip for anyone anywhere, so thank you for that. But you know, I got to thinking about this report submitted here on this one. You know, maybe they had a really intense encounter, and maybe that's all they could say, and that's all they want to say. I could see that. I get that. So there you go, Oklahoma. Bigfoot report there. Be safe out there, folks. And we'll do the same here. Let's head on over to Cali. Killer Cali. Yeah, so this one is out of let's see here, the Stanislaus, not Santa Claus, Stanislaus National Forest. And this is going to be quite a long one here. As you can see, it borders the border of Nevada is not too far from there. Carson City, Reno on the side of Nevada. And then you have the Tahoe National Forest a little further up. El Dorado National Forest. And Stanislaus right there. So the Sierras, safe to say. Let's see here. This is one out of this year. All right. And I'll do my best to read this. 6/14/2025, 9:20 p.m. And they didn't see any young, no footprints, no wood knocks. And it just skips straight to additional comments. And it says, I was hiking back to my car from Waterhouse Lake and it was getting dark. There was enough light, and I think he meant to put light, this is like, to make out some color of the area around me, like the trail, but not enough to see individual trees in a clump. I don't remember the exact location, but it was somewhere around, and he shares some coordinates numbers there. I know some of you like to dig into that type of information, which is always good. Also, if you're going to do some like boots on the ground, investigating yourself of some of these reports. Some space clumps of trees. As I was walking briskly along, I heard loud thuds to my forward right coming from around clump of trees at a distance I figured was 150 feet. I could not see what made them or be sure of the distance. Some of the words are kind of weird here if you read along. Yeah. And of course, I'm not the best reader either, but hey. My initial thought at the first sound was perhaps a large falling pine cone, but then there were about 5 to 7 of the same thumps in rapid succession, like an animal scampering away. Whatever it was big and I could not see it. The thumps were easily 5 times louder than my own steps and gave me the impression of bipedal locomotion. And it continues on here. It says, it sounded like the steps were heavy and on thick pine duff. There was no crashing of breaking or, there was no crashing or breaking of branches that I can recall hearing. Handle, bro. Bro stepping out of the shop here, so we're holding it down. All good. We're going to continue this. We're going to get this report done, dang it. It sounded like whatever it was moving away from me at an oblique or southeast while I was walking north. I called out hello. I think it's kind of funny when people do that in case it was a person or if communicating would elicit a response and diffuse a confrontation. No response came, and I kept moving at my brisk pace because I needed to get back to my vehicle. I was not eager for a confrontation or a sighting. I had just hiked about 10 miles, and did the step ascending leg of the trail coming up from the lake. Let's see. It may have been a bear, an elk, or other large deer, but whatever it was seemed big and possibly spooked. Cow pies are in the area. Watch out for them cow pies, folks. But cattle typically didn't get spooked and move. I had to throw that little move. Can we get a little cowbell up in this motherfucker, please? All right. It wasn't a sprint or a gallop, more like a brisk pace. I made it back to my car and lodging safely without further encounters with large wildlife. It is possible the thing left footprints, and there are several areas that were muddy. I saw only deer and human footprints on my way in. I cannot say for certain, one way or another, whether this was Bigfoot or not, but it sounded bipedal. Coming out to check for footprints soon may be the only way to confirm this as a Bigfoot sighting. I just don't have the time for it. Whatever. Yeah, you do. You had time for this report. I have work that I needed to be at elsewhere in the state, so he had to go out of state. All right. Color was unknown. Didn't see anything there. And yeah, that's your Bigfoot report for you today, folks. What's going on, bro? Nope, we out of that right now. Y'all took the last two, remember? My brother's got to go do shopping. He actually took off right now. He probably went to go shop for that. And yeah, there you have it, folks. All right. What's up? Yeah, 1 second here. Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up for now. Where are we at? Let's see. And we're an hour in. Not too bad. Got a couple chases in. Bigfoot report. And got to check in with you folks. Make sure everyone's doing all right out there. And we're going to keep on holding down the shop here. Got a couple customers, good friends in here. And thank you for hanging out. Yeah. Let's go ahead and hit this outro. Y'all smash that, squatch that like button. And we'll see you soon. Mm-hmm.